back to 52 years and 52 weeks. Each week in 2021, we'll watch a film I've never seen before starting in 1969, moving 1 year forward every week. This week, I watched The Aristocats from 1970. Wolfgang Reitherman directed this feline family adventure for Disney. It's also streaming on Disney Plus if you want to check it out yourself. Reitherman is also at least partly behind other Disney classics like 1961's 101 Dalmatians, 1959's Sleeping Beauty, and 1970's The Rescuers, which I believe to be connected to The Aristocats because the mice look kind of similar in my mind, but I guess that just makes me the racist equivalent for rodents. But I'll leave it to the movie to make racial stereotypes for their characters, but more on that later. Reitherman co-directed these films, but he's arguably best known for 1973's Robin Hood and 1967's The Jungle Book. All the films mentioned are available for streaming on Disney Plus, by the way. The service might lack in new original programming, but the Disney backlog is arguably rather impressive. Phil Harris, who voices Baloo and Little John in The Jungle Book and Robin Hood respectively, does the voice for the most memorable character from The Aristocats, O'Malley. It's impressive how creepy yet still charming Harris manages to be as the stray cat that helps the Duchess and her 3 kittens on their way back to their wealthy home. The plot is fairly simple. When Adelaide Bonfamie leaves all her liquidities to her cats, her butler decides to get rid of the cats as an effort to inherit his employer's money that he believes he deserves. Funnily enough, Edgar is too dense to realize that he would still get all the money as cats can't spend money. I know, mind blown. But the rather simple worldview runs through the entire plot of The Aristocats. Intense and over-the-top action chase scenes and the occasional song is all we get from the movie. It never tries to be more than a simple, ignore the partly intended terrible pun here, cat and mouse game. I personally found most jokes to be more miss than hit. For example, the geese characters feel particularly random and unnecessary. Maybe it's just because I can't stand the upper class way of talking from the 40s to the 70s. The Duchess is a great example for that. I just cannot stand the way she talks. Perhaps that's just a me thing, but I still find it distracting. In the context of the story, it makes sense to have an upper class cat speak in an upper class manner. It's just so annoying, but honestly, Thomas O'Malley's constant baby is equally as annoying and quite predatory, to be frank. It's a movie that's supposed to be lighthearted, with Thomas O'Malley strolling along the riverside singing and then taking the family on an adventure. I just don't connect as well with movies that I feel like don't have a purpose or a reason to exist. This might be cynical, but I don't like cookie cutter versions of story that are way too familiar without adding much to anything. You could argue that the purpose of a movie like this is simply to entertain, and I'd have to agree. Lots of studio films exist purely for that reason and don't need any themes deeper than that. But I wasn't even entertained by anything happening in the plot. As you'd expect from a family film, its conclusion is predictable, and the moments in between, at least to me, are not charming or memorable enough to leave a good impression. And you know what's worse than a truly bad film? A mediocre, boring one. And that's what The Aristocats is. Also, giving a cat with Asian features chopsticks to play the piano with is at most unexpected, but not really funny. In addition to that, it was also voiced by a white actor. In the overall context of the story, that scene simply serves as a colorful musical pit stop halfway through the film before the stray cats ultimately assimilate to the aristocratic lifestyle at the mercy of an old white woman. Well, if that isn't a white savior trope, then I don't know. Maybe I'm reading into this too much, but there's also that disclaimer at the start of the film that Disney puts in front of some of their older releases that are deemed controversial. Ultimately, The Aristocats is a rather weak entry in the long list of animated Disney classics, but at least it's better than all of the recent live-action remakes. From the recent trend of Disney redoing literally their entire 90s golden age of films, it's only a matter of time until they'll produce the inevitable remake for this one. Next week, we will watch Spielberg's feature-length debut/TV movie Duel. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and I'll see you next week.